First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, we appreciate you joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday. We cover a wide range of topics, but today we are talking about, well, something that everybody's been talking about, and that is the fires in LA, the devastation that it has caused, but really what it's like for the people living there, for the residents, for people who've had to go through this, get evacuated. Some people have lost their homes or more. And we're going to talk to, well, somebody who's been there, who's been evacuated, who's gone through this. And joining us right now, we have Angie Crouch, LA resident, former reporter extraordinaire with so many different places and covering so many different things. And Angie, thank you for being here with us to talk to us today. Sorry for what you've had to go through, but I was hoping, we could start from the beginning, really. Are you safe right now? I take it, are you back home right now?
Yeah, I'm back at my home in Santa Monica, and I want to start by saying I'm one of the very lucky ones. I was evacuated, but was able to come back to my home. My neighborhood is safe, no damage in my neighborhood. I worked as a news reporter for 30 years, so normally I would be out on the front lines of these wildfires, so it's been a little bit weird to be on the other side of this and to be evacuated. And I live in the sort of urban part of Santa Monica. And so I think we have a kind of a false sense of security here that we are not going to be affected by these because we're not in the canyons, we're not on the hillside. But I am very close to canyons and hills, and that's where that came into effect this week. And I was evacuated twice because right down at the end of my road, we look out over a canyon, which is Pacific Palisades, which of course we know has been absolutely decimated.
Yeah, and I've got some of this video here that you've had, which, pretty extraordinary video of seeing this. So walk us through what we're looking at right here. Was this right at the beginning of when the fires started up?
Yeah, that's the first day. I had been evacuated with a warning, which means pack up and be ready to go. My friends encouraged me to leave, even though I kind of wanted to stay until it was mandatory. But I came back to check on things, went to the end of the road, and this is what we could see from the end of our road. What you're looking at is looking out over Pacific Palisades. Right there on the ridge is where the homes burned. And then if you look forward from that, it goes down into a deep canyon. Those homes were not burned, but there were a couple of spot fires right below these green brush that you see right there in the front. And when that caught fire, they were worried it was going to race up towards Santa Monica, and they issued a mandatory evacuation. So I had to get out again. So then I packed up and left a second time. And then, of course, as we know, the Palisades basically burned down.
Yeah, what was it like going through that? Seeing that fire there, that's scary for anybody to see something like that up close. Here in the Northwest, we're used to forest fires. Not a lot of it comes into that much of an urban area, although certainly that has happened. But seeing it there and seeing how fast that's spreading with those winds, and getting these evacuation notices, what was the feeling like going through something like that?
I have to say, in 30 years of covering wildfires, I have never seen fires like these. These were in different areas at different times. The firefighters were basically fighting flames in hurricane force winds, which is absolutely impossible. And so there was really, they just didn't have a fighting chance against these winds this past week. And the bad news is that we are under another wind advisory starting tonight, moving all the way through Wednesday. Tomorrow morning is going to be the worst of those winds. And so while we're safe for now, everybody's on edge here in Santa Monica because, like I said, the bluffs haven't burned. The canyon nearest us hasn't burned. And if we have another fire, we may have to leave again. And so everybody's on edge. People have come back. It's a sunny day today. Some of the smoke has cleared. So we're relieved for that. But again, everybody still has their bags packed, ready to go if we need to.
So despite that sunny sky, a little bit maybe more sense of normalcy-ish, whatever that could possibly mean for you down there, there's still the threat, of all that area that could light up. And even just seeing some of these other videos that you have here, just of what life is like going through that. So can you tell us when this was?
Yeah, this is that same day when we saw the fire burning there on the Palisades. This is San Vicente and Ocean Avenue. And the folks that you see here are nervously watching the fire come towards them in that canyon. And this poor woman right here that you see with the red garment tied around her waist, she lives right here behind this where you're seeing them. And she was packing up her bags and trying to get an update on just how close it was. And this gentleman was kind enough. He'd been down in the canyon and he was letting us know exactly where the spot fire had sparked up and letting everybody know, it's coming this way. And luckily, the firefighters, God bless them, were able to put out that spot fire, and that never reached Santa Monica. So we were very grateful for that.
Wow. I mean, and there we go. Speaking of, the fire department going through right here. I don't know if that's from that same day or somewhere along then. I mean, even looks like that guy was cheering on the fire department as they came by.
This is actually a couple days later. So the National Guard is stationed right there at the corner of Ocean and San Vicente. We've got a curfew in effect in the evacuated zones from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Unfortunately, though, people have been taking advantage of this situation, and they've arrested 10 different people, some for looting, some with burglary tools. They even caught a few people setting fires. And so, it's unbelievable that anybody would even think of taking advantage at a time like this. But, as you know, in these kind of situations, there's always going to be a few bad actors.
Yeah, the worst people that are going to do something like that, unfortunately, as you mentioned. But I mean, hopefully they can catch them in the act and prevent any of that from happening and take advantage of such a terrible situation that was happening there. Looking at it now, and there is one more video of yours that I really do want to play here, but to give everybody a real concept of this. Actually, I'll tell you what, before we even talk about right now, to give somebody an idea of what this is like, this video right here really, struck me. Can you tell us what we're looking at right here?
Yeah, I'm heading eastbound on the 10 freeway the night the fires broke out, and I was shocked that there was smoke and flames right there. I didn't quite know what was going on because we were about a mile away from where the evacuation zone was. And as I looked up, you can see there on the embankment along the 10 freeway at Centinela Avenue, if anybody knows where that is, there were spot fires even that far away. And so I'm presuming that these were embers that had traveled all the way from the Palisades to burn here. There's always the slight possibility that these were intentionally set by somebody else. But my impression that night was that the embers had traveled all the way from the Palisades all the way to the 10 and were burning along the 10 as I was trying to evacuate. So it's been a wild week, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing something like that, like you mentioned, I would imagine the chaos of what's going on, all of this happening so fast, being evacuated, and then seeing the fires right there. I mean, that's terrifying for anybody, and that just shows that threat too, with that wind of these embers traveling that far away and what they can do and how they can start a fire, and how hard that's got to be to try to manage that. I mean, even for the fire department, for anybody to have it be that spontaneous, whether it is somebody intentionally, potentially, or it's just embers flying through the air and spreading that far. It's just really hard to imagine how it is to manage that from the standpoint of the city or for the LA Fire Department or LA County or whoever it is that's running it over there.
Yeah, I think one of the most difficult things about this particular fire, especially in the first days there, was that the winds were so high that they weren't able to do the airdrops. So it wasn't safe for the planes and helicopters to be up in the air. It was just too windy. And so that's really why they were able to spread so quickly. And I know there's been a lot of misinformation out there. I really encourage people to do their due diligence and try to find the right information. And shockingly, there's been a lot of negativity towards Los Angeles. I think some people have the misguided impression that everybody who lost their homes is wealthy, and that's not the case. Yes, there are many wealthy people in Malibu and the Palisades, but there's lots of working class people there as well. I go to physical therapy in the Palisades. I had a recent surgery, and so I've been undergoing physical therapy there. My physical therapy clinic burned down. The folks who work there, they're not wealthy. They've lost their jobs. Fortunately, my physical therapist's home was able to be saved, but again, most of the people who lived in the Palisades were not as lucky as that. And I think just about everybody I know in Los Angeles knows somebody who lost their home.
Yeah, I mean, it's that interconnected and that many people that have lost. And I guess, my final thing here for you right now, as this is not over yet, you mentioned the winds picking back up, some of the fires are still going. They've certainly been able to contain some of them. But what is the general consensus and feeling in LA right now? How is the city feeling? How are the people feeling? What's it like even being there?
It's pretty devastating. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's pretty awful. People are on edge, obviously, because we have fires continuing to burn and we've got more winds picking up as of this evening. So everybody is a little bit on edge. But one of the things that I've been so heartened by is the way that this community has really come together. And we're seeing lots of people make donations. It's been difficult for me because normally I'd be out there on the front lines, but I left news a couple of years ago. And so, in order to, normally I have that sense of being able to be part of some kind of a solution, at least informing people and letting people know where to go and what to do and what the status is. And so I've kind of taken that energy and I'm now working with several local nonprofits to help with the fire relief efforts. And so, there's a group called Connecting a Caring Community out of the West Valley that I've been working with. We're making care packages and feeding firefighters, and Operation USA is another great disaster relief organization. And people have been so generous. People have donated clothing and all kinds of other items. The need for clothing is less now. So if people there want to help, the best way is really to make a monetary donation, because then the groups that are here on the ground can get exactly what is needed to the people who need it most.
Angie, thank you for having some time to talk to us about it. And I'm sure, yeah, as you mentioned, being on this other side of it, not out there reporting on it, not being there in the thick of it is probably a strange experience. But we appreciate your time and being able to communicate it to everybody and letting everybody know, really what it's like there, what's going on, and really happy that your home is safe and hopefully you don't have to be evacuated again, and that they can get these things under control here in the next few days, and hopefully it rains at some point. And
That would be great. Yeah, I want to just let all of your viewers know, thank you so much. People have reached out from all across the country to check on us, see how we're doing, and also to make very generous donations. So we really appreciate it. Please keep us all in your prayers.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And for everybody watching, we're going to sign off for now. We live stream here at the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We get to have these longer conversations like this, and really appreciate everybody joining. You can find us on our YouTube channel, kptv.com, under the Fox 12 Now tab, or of course on the Fox 12 Oregon apps. All those are great places to see this and share these segments as well. We'll sign off for now. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is